Warren takes the finals. Such a scene here in the British Pokemon League.
Playing in 71, the Miami Heat for your season 1 Champions League.
Bonga, baby! No! Fisher lands again! Fisher picks up again!
Hello everybody and welcome back to the British Pokemon League show. That was the brand new Season 3 intro. Do apologise, took us a little while to get there. It was supposed to be ready for week 1. Unfortunately, that's not the way things work sometimes. We had to wait on a few logos, but we've got them going, so we have the new intro. All brand new, spanking new. I will admit, it's not my favourite one. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with my work. Season 1 intro always have a special place in my heart. If you've ever seen the Season 1 intro, do you recommend you go back and watch Season 1? But anyway, guys, enough rambling, huh? We've got plenty of time to do plenty of rambling today. It's another week of British Pokemon League action. We've still got plenty of Pokemon left to play, of course. But we've got Week 3's fixtures for you coming up tonight. And let me just tell you, there is some doozies. We've got some teams playing each other the first time. We've got some teams playing each other for the 5th or 6th time. We've got a big old rival match coming up as your second match of the evening, which we'll get to in just a second. And damn, it is a crazy week of Pokemon, let me just tell you. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the league table after the Week 2 action. Still sitting pretty at the top of the British Pokemon League. It is Aaron's Inglorious Surfers getting that win over the Newcastle Thundurus last week in a 2-0 fashion. So still yet to drop a game alongside the British Pokemon League newcomers Space City PC. Also getting another 2-0 last week against Jabba's Knights of Sidonia. That Mega Charizard Groudon duo looking awfully scary. Up in third, we have got the South Croydon Saurs, Crystal South Croydon Saurs, dropping a game to the to Dogsy's ShadowKings last week. So probably an unexpected one in that regard, but Dogsy, of course, did beat him at the end of Season 2. So Crystal yet to overcome that hurdle yet. Up next, we've got Miami Heat losing out to the Long Island Gummies. The first time that they've lost to these Long Island Gummies since Season 1, the early days of Season 1 as well. So not a lot of people saw that coming, but Silly has put together one hell of a team this season. And that Xerneas Blastoise duo looking very terrifying. Speaking of Silly, Long Island Gummies up next in 5th place, followed closely by Draco, Swindon, Rookadies. Not able to continue that Week 1 win last week, losing out to Oma's California Bastiodons in a 2-0 fashion. And speaking of Oma's California Bastiodons, they lines up in 7th place, getting that first win of the season, that much needed first win of the season. Closely followed by Knights of Sidonia, Tyranitar Tyrants also getting their first win of the season, another one of our Season 3 newcomers, Silver, really putting on a clinic last week, really showing his stall game, a sort of, presence that he has in this league, and really played that one really well. ShadowKings liners up at in 10th place as well, getting their first win of the season after losing out to Jabba in Week 1, and down there in 11th and 12th, Wobbuffet Ninjas and Newcastle Thundurus both looking for that elusive first win of the season. The Ninjas, our first duo team, still yet to make a victory. That old chestnut, 2 brain cells better than 1. Apparently not coming to fruition just yet, but we'll wait and see. And of course, Dave not making the ideal start to life in the British Pokemon League Season 3, but this is Dave's Newcastle Thundurus. You can never count them out. May see a bit of a charge in the mid-season here from him. We'll have to wait and see. But let's take a look at our Week 3 schedule anyways and see what we've got coming up for you guys. First off, we've got a first-time meeting by Crystal South Croydon Saurs taking on Latvians Miami Heat. Latvian will be looking to bounce back after that 2-0 loss to Silly Long Island Gummies last week. Crizzle in the same boat as well, losing out to ShadowKings last week, so both coming into this one with the fire lit under them, trying to get that win and get back to winning ways. Our second match of the week, it is the Swindon Rookies taking on Inglorious Surfers. Of course, last season these two shared wins. Aaron took the first one in week 1 of season 2 over Draco, then known as the Celtic Celebies, and the reverse fixture last season, Draco able to get the win over Aaron in a 2-1 fashion. So always close games between these two. So keep an eye out for that one. It ought to be a banger. The third game of this week, Wobbuffet Ninjas take on Long Island Goomies. Silly and, formerly known as Real Boys, but Matt, myself, we've come to heads quite a lot of times in the last few seasons. Played each other probably the most out of anyone in this league, to be honest. We played each other a lot of times, so it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Our fourth fixture is the Newcastle Thundurus taking on the Knights of Sidonia. Again, both of these teams losing out last week. Dave trying to get that first win, trying to gain some momentum in the league and get a little bit of a winning run going. And Jabba hoping to bounce back from that pretty destructive defeat to Space City PC. Tyranitar Tyrants take on California Bastiodons. Again, another first time meeting between two teams. Silver hoping to carry on that week 2 form, that 2-0 win over the Ninjas. Hopefully be giving him that boost that he needs to beat Oma, who also got the win last week. And finally, rounding out the fixtures for week 3, it is Dogsy ShadowKings taking on Space City PC. This one ought to be an absolute doozy as well. Dogsy getting that win in week 2 last week over Crizzle's ShadowKings in that 2-1 fashion. And Space City, of course, looking very, very strong so far, yet to drop a game. Can Dogsy be the first one to take them down, or will that domination between that Pokemon pairing of Mega Charizard and Groudon continue on? But God damn it, Dogsy. Before we get into that one, though, we've got our first game of the week. It is the Miami Heat taking on South Croydon Saurs, as we just said there. These two teams never came to heads yet. Last season was Crizzle's first season in the British Pokemon League, and of course last season we had a West and East Division. Crizzle was over in the East Division, meanwhile Lat was over in the West Division, so never had a chance to play each other. Of course, never came together in playoffs either, so this should be very interesting. Both coaches not really sure what to expect from each other, can only go off, previous British Pokemon League show footages to sort of get their information, but we've seen some Crizzle try some interesting things so far. Of course, that week 1 was just able to bring the Indeedee Mail and the Whimsicott and basically just spread move Silly's team to death. That tend to work really, really well against Silly's team. The follow me strat that he wanted to use to get Zen set up, unfortunately not working out, but Crizzle taking full advantage of that. Of course, got to keep an eye out for that Kyogre as well. You let this thing get his rain set up, you don't reset the weather, it can start hitting with water spouts and origin pulses, and goddamn, it is gonna hurt. It's just ShadowKings. Of course, Mammothswine and Conkeldurr as well. We saw Conkeldurr last week, trying something different. Of course, the Kyogre didn't come last week, so Crizzle trying not to set up that rain for Dogsy ShadowKings last week. Tried something different, it didn't quite pay off for him, but this week is a new week. Of course, Hydreigon, Raichu, Torracat, that Weezing and Honchkrow rounding out the rest of that team. Raichu, of course, pair really well with Kyogre with that Lightning Rod, gives it one less weakness while Raichu is still kicking around. And Weezing as well, if Crizzle can spot an ability on another team that might cause them a problem, can always bring the Weezing in to nullify said ability. Over on Latvian side, then, as we've already mentioned, last week did not go according to plan to Latvian, losing out in a 2-0 fashion to the Long Island Goomies after that brilliant win in week 1, completely shutting down the Wobbuffet Ninjas team with Entei. Speaking of Entei, something that Crizzle definitely needs to be keep an eye on. Just because he's got the Kyogre in the back does not mean that this thing can't run house. If Lat's able to get the weather reset with his Volbeat, then things could get very scary very, very quickly. Has an Indeedee of his own as well, so may choose to take advantage of that psychic terrain. Could see some psychic seeds come out from either side here just to give themselves that Spadef boost. And of course that Mega Blastoise as well. We've not really seen too much of the Mega Blastoise yet from Latvia. I don't know whether it's not really worked in the teams that he's put together so far or what, but we'll hopefully see a little bit more of Lat's Boyo. And of course Ambipom, Slacking, Sorg, Emolga and Manectric rounding out that team, as well as Alakazam. Manectric and Emolga we did see versus Silly last week, and we did get to see a little bit of the strat come out last week, but unfortunately not able to work because that is discharge into lightning rod. Can be a really spooky strat if you're able to get it set up, because Manectric is a little bit frail, which can go against you when trying to get that set up. But of course, as long as you have speed control, it can be really lethal. So without further ado, let's get into this one. It is the Miami Heat taking on the South Croydon Saurs. And so there, the Latvian does have the Mega Blastoise in his team, and Crizzle does have also his Mega as well, the Mega Aggron, but he's choosing to start with Honchkrow and the Whimsicott, and Latvian kicking things off with the Indeedee and the Volbeat. So Terrain up, which is going to work against his Volbeat. Volbeat and Whimsicott now not able to use any prankster moves into the other side. So could see a Tailwind come out from both teams here. Lat may potentially try to go for a weather reset later on in the game for Volbeat, but the Night Slash is going to take out that Indeedee with the Psychic Seed as well, and Honchkrow doesn't care. It's taken out, it is gone, and Volbeat going for the Struggle Bug, dropping the special attack on that Honchkrow, but that Moxie giving the boost, and Trick Room goes up for that Whimsicott as well, as in comes Latvian's Mega Blastoise then. So Crizzle does have speed control up there, has got the Trick Room, so Crizzle going for a bit of a slow speed setting with his team this time around. Advantage to Crizzle as he switches in the Weezing then. So Weezing comes in, that's going to neutralise all the abilities. Light Screen goes up from Volbeat and the Aura Sphere into that Weezing, so making a great read there. Seeing that the Blastoise is probably going to go for some sort of move into that Honchkrow, keeps it safe, and Weezing just eats that up. The Light Screen does go from Volbeat. But a great switch in there from Crizzle. That's going to stop Volbeat from getting any kind of prankster moves off altogether. Whimsicott in a great position as well. Of course, we've seen Whimsicott paired with Whimsicott using Energy Ball quite a few times in the last couple of weeks, so Blastoise is going to have to keep an eye out for that. It has had a special attack drop, so you can't imagine that Energy Ball would be doing too much to that Blastoise. But then there is the Tailwind, then so Trick Room obviously being reset there. Taunt comes out from the Weezing there as well. Water Spout into the Whimsicott and the Weezing there. That's doing some big damage with full health Blastoise, but they both hang on. And that Taunt stopping that Volbeat from getting anything off there in the end. So great move, great stuff there from Crizzle, just stopping that Volbeat in his tracks. And Latvian does swap out as in comes the Entei. There's the Moonblast from the Whimsicott and the Sludge Bomb into the Entei, and that does get a poison on the Entei as well. There's a good Water Spout. That is going to take out both of Weezing and Whimsicott, and all of a sudden Latvian has advantage. It is a 3v2 now. Honchkrow, and what does he have as his fourth? It is the Kyogre, which does set the raid, so that Entei is now in a world of trouble. Volbeat obviously not in position, and Entei not positioned awfully well to do so good under the rain. We have seen it with Solar Beam in the past, but of course that's only going to work if the sun is up. So this could be a good position for Chris. We could see an Origin Pulse or a Water Spout potentially come out here if he's got the speed control, which he does with Tailwind is still up. Crizzle got to be careful of the Water Spouts coming the other way though, because those Rainbows Water Spouts are going to hurt as Volbeat now comes in. There's the Brave Bird, so that's a great prediction there from Crizzle. Sees that it's coming out, and Volbeat goes down, and Latvian trying to save his Entei. There's the Thunder from the Kyogre, and it gets a Paralyze as well. Aura Sphere is going to take out the Honchkrow, and it is now in 1v2. All of a sudden this game has gotten very crazy very quickly. Blastoise with the Para, Entei comes back in, it is being poisoned. What can this duo do against the Lord of the Sea? Well, the Sea has lost a little bit of credibility after week 1. It was of course taken down by the sleeping bear. There is extreme speed. The Origin Pulse misses the Entei though. It is going to hit the Blastoise and does take it out. Entei, of course, on a timer with that poison. One Origin Pulse is going to do this for Crizzle then, and he'll be able to take this game 1. But what's Entei got in its locker then? How much is those extreme speeds going to do? Punch comes out from the Entei, but the Origin Pulse misses Entei again. That's 2 misses in a row, and Entei now below half health thanks to that poison. Can he get it? How much is Crunch going to be able to do? Can he get a crit? A critical hit could absolutely change this game and flip it on its head and allow Latvian to take the lead here. Obviously, he does have speed control. Entei is faster. There's the Crunch. Oh, the Kyogre hanging on, but there's the Origin Pulse. Origin Pulse does hit this time, and he takes the 1-0 lead going into game 2. So what a fantastic game 1 from these guys, going all the way down to the wire. And Honchkrow putting in really big work there in the early game as Alakazam and Entei lead the line from Latvian this time, just switching things up. And Crizzle sticking with what he knows as Honchkrow and Whimsicott comes out this time. So may see that Tailwind come out from the Whimsicott this time, try and get that speed up. Does not look like Latvian will have brought the Indeedee this time. But maybe he's trying to sort of pull away from that, knowing just how much damage that Honchkrow can do. As Volbeat switches in for the Alakazam Tailwind, comes out from the Whimsicott. There is the Night Slash from the Honchkrow, so great read there from Latvian. There's a Sacred Fire that's going to take the Whimsicott down to the Sash, but it does get the burn, so Whimsicott is going to go down to that Sash. Doesn't matter, it did its job, it did get Tailwind up, but now it is advantage to Latvian. That's a great, great switching as well. Volbeat taking that Night Slash pretty handedly. Despite its stature, you know, wee little bug. And Entei doing what it does best, getting those Sacred Fires off, getting those burns. Potentially going to have to try and go into that Honchkrow just to try and nullify its attack a little bit. We're just seeing how much attacking damage this thing has, and when it gets Moxie up, it gets very scary very quickly. Latvian knows that thing's running Brave Bird as well, so maybe he doesn't want to risk his Volbeat in this position, especially while the Weezing on the field. Alakazam does switch in, but there's a Night Slash into Entei, maybe expecting to switch in. That's what. There is the Sacred Fire, and it does burn the Honchkrow this time, and it does quite a lot of damage as well. Honchkrow down below 20% damage, 20% HP, sorry. And tanking that hit pretty damn well. So good switch in from Latvian this time, making the good reads. Regular Weezing Summon, so there's the Extreme Speed. That is going to take out the Honchkrow, so it is 4v2, and Expanding Force does have the Papaya Berry, which is going to nullify a bit of that damage, and there's the Sludge Bomb into the Entei, but Alakazam really has the advantage over the Weezing here, and Kyogre now has a lot of work to do. Of course, no rain while that Weezing is still kicking around. Does have one more time of Tailwind as well, just, you know, allows him that speed. You know, one or two Origin Pulse here could really turn this game over and allow Crizzle right back into this one. Yeah, and in comes the Indeedee. It is the Indeedee Alakazam, and that Origin Pulse doing some big damage. That Expanding Force is going to take out the Weezing, and now it is all up for Kyogre. It has got the rain up it. Psychic Seed does proc after the Psychic Seed goes up now as well, but that means Expanding Forces are going to be doing so much more. You know, Expanding Force from Indeedee and Alakazam just can go for the spam. There's one. The Origin Pulse comes out, that's going to take out Alakazam. Indeed, just what hangs on. There's another Expanding Force. Kyogre just tanks that though. Kyogre with the hefty special defense investment, and it is 1v3 now, but Indeed on low health, and Volbeat just above half HP. Volbeat of course can go for any prankster moves into Kyogre. The Tyranitar, there's the Tailwind, there's Expanding Force. Kyogre just hangs on with 4% HP. The Origin Pulse is going to take out Indeedee and Volbeat, and all of a sudden it's a 1v1. Is Crizzle about to take this with a 4% Kyogre? It is Entei in the back. He does have Tailwind. You can go for an Extreme Speed either way, so I think either way Latvia's going to take us, and there it is 1-1, but another close as anything game 2. This could go either way, ladies and gentlemen, genuinely. Both coaches putting on an absolute clinic here with their switch-ins and their reads as we fly straight into game 3. No time to read through the teams, we're straight in with this Honchkrow and Whimsicott once again, and this time Latvian switching up and going for Slacking and Alakazam. So you would presume that the Alakazam or something has the skill swap on there, just so Slacking is not going to be, you know, suffering with that truant ability, but you know, at the same time Latvian, he's going to give truant to something else, so gotta watch out for that one. Maybe hoping that Crizzle leads with that Weezing just to sort of nullify that, but the Brave Bird is going to take Alakazam down with its Sash that just takes a bit of damage away from Honchkrow skills that comes out. There's the Body Slam into the Whimsicott taking just below 20% HP, and a pretty even time. Tailwind is up for Crizzle though, so it does have that speed. Honchkrow really putting in the work this game then. Alakazam not really going to stand a chance here with any kind of attack from Honchkrow or even Whimsicott as Bravery does switch Alakazam out. There's the Brave Bird into the Slacking, doing a bit more recall damage, and Blastoise switches in, and Moonblast in the Slacking as well. There's the Body Slam into the Honchkrow, and Honchkrow goes down and Slacking, getting itself on the board, and it is advantage to Latvian as in comes the Raichu then. Raichu we haven't seen as of yet in this match. allows it some fake out pressure, but that being also has the same on the side as well. Yet to mega his Blastoise, but that will be coming this time. Grizzle still with that tailwind up for another 2 times as well. Fake out comes in, the Blastoise of course is faster, so no mega just yet, and there's the Moonblast into Slacking just about hanging on. There's a special attack drop, but the Body Slam into the Raichu down to 2% HP, the Aguaberry allowing it to get some of that HP back. And at the moment, Slacking looking like a very, very terrifying enemy right now. You would expect the Blastoise to go for its mega this time round. Not able to get any good damage, but a water spout from the Blastoise is going to really hurt, and then again it's going to be all left up to Kyogre. The Volbeat switches in for the Slacking. There is the mega from the Blastoise, Thunderbolt in, there's the Moonblast into the Volbeat. That's some big damage. Is water spout going to do enough? It does to Whimsicott, but Raichu just about hanging on with 2% HP, and that allows Kyogre to come in and set up the rain, and it is now a 2v4 again for Crizzle. But does have a low, Latvian does have a low HP Slacking, pretty low HP Blastoise, but at the same time Crizzle with a 2% HP Raichu, and that fourth Pokemon for Latvian, the numbers advantage is good for him. We just saw how much Origin Pulses can do, especially with the rain up, just how much damage that they can do as long as they hit, as long as they don't miss like they did in game number 1. Dylan goes with Volbeat. There is the water spout that does take out Raichu, so it is a 1v4. There's the Origin Pulse that takes out both Blastoise and Volbeat, and all of a sudden it is a 1v2. Is Kyogre about to do it? We thought it might do it in game number 2. Latvian does have speed control. There's Alakazam and Slacking both on low HP. This could be it. Crizzle's going to do it with the Kyogre, the 1v4 to take game number 3. What an absolutely superb match between these two coaches. This is what we like to see in the British Pokemon League. You don't see anything like it in any other draft league, I tell you that now. Expanding Force going for the damage as like Tailwind. The Body Slam not going to do enough, and the Origin Pulse is going to take it, and Kriz takes game number 3 and the win over Latvian. Latvian succumbing to a second defeat in quick succession. Crizzle getting himself back to winning ways, so GG's to both coaches. That was genuinely sensational to watch, 2 games in a row. Kyogre, almost with the 1v4, almost did it in game number 2. If it wasn't for that speed on Entei's side, could have done it. And then, I would have been sweating from the Body Slam from that Slacking. That thing has so much attack. Whew. But yeah, great games to both those guys, and I'm sure Latvian is going to bounce back. Went through the whole of last season, regular season, nearly unbeaten. Took him till week 10 to lose, and has lost twice already. And we're at week 3, so AV Kyogre did save the day. You're right. Very scary stuff, but yeah, great games, guys. And on to our second one then. It is Draco's Swindon Rookadies taking on Aaron's Inglorious Surfers. As you see there, the head-to-head record, these are 1 apiece. Aaron taking first blood at the start of last season, and Draco getting the reverse. And so far, Aaron yet to drop a single game. And of course, it is only early days, early doors. We are on week 3. We can't put too much stock into that, but Aaron has made the dream start. 2 2-0s in a row is exactly how you'd want to start a season. Draco with a great start in week 1, did not quite go to plan against Omar last week, was pretty much shut down by the Mega Metagross. But this is Draco. I'm sure he's going to bounce back. Last season we saw him lose the first 2 matches of the season and then went on a crazy 7-match winning streak. So don't count him out just yet. As we said, early days, still plenty of Pokemon left to goddamn play. On Aaron's side then, we'll start off with the Zacian Crown. This thing has been putting in the absolute work for Aaron alongside Rotom here. I think I mentioned this last week. It's a bit of a scary scenario coming up against that duo because you don't want to ignore the Sword Doggo. This thing gets Intrepid Sword, which boosts its attack upon entering the field. So you can't ignore this thing. It's super fast as well. You let this thing get a substitute up and it gets a little bit terrifying. But at the same time, unless you've got a spread move that's going to hit them both, really hard, you're kind of in a position, because if you focus down the Zacian, the Rotom, he's just going to nasty plot you, and then you're in just as much trouble as you were before. So Aaron, you've got to give him full credit as team building. He's put together one hell of a team, and of course, if those two don't get it done, he has got his Mega Aerodactyl in the back usually, or the Galarian Zapdos, or we've seen him run that Marshadow as well as Ludicolo, or potentially something like the Hitmontop. Hitmontop with a quick guard, wide guard, intimidate, and fake out. Such a good support one, especially in this format. Potentially could see the Marowak come out this game, just with that Tapu Koko on Draco side, giving it that electric type presence. A few mons on Aaron's team that are weak to electric, so it does need to watch out for that. Over on Draco's side then, his Mega Diancie has not really been able to put in the work that he's wanted to just yet, but again, plenty of time to go for that one. I think people have just been able to hyper-focus that thing, and with it being so frail, it's went down a little bit easily. But, Yveltal has been the one taking all of the limelight on this team so far, away from that pure Mega Diancie. This Yveltal has been an absolute force to be reckoned with, especially in week 1. It just absolutely ran through Silver's team, so keep an eye out for that thing. Could be quite good in this game. Obviously, not going to pair up too well against that Mega Aerodactyl or the Rotom Heat, but this thing, it hits hard, especially with that Dark Aura. Genesect as well, of course. With the Technoblast, you can give it any kind of any drive and changes to typing of the Technoblast, so gives it that flexibility. And if this thing gets downloaded off and gets it off the right way as well, gets very scary, very, very fast. I think it's very likely we could see the Tapu Koko come out this game as well. Could pair it quite well with a Driplim. A Driplim we've seen paired with Surge setters, terrain setters quite a bit. With the seed that matches the terrain. Sets that unburden enough and allows it to go burr very fast. I think Volcarona is very likely in this matchup as well. Volcarona is very much a Series 10 match into that Zacian Crown. It kind of walls that thing really well. Flame Body as well, if you're unfortunate enough to hit there, Volcarona potentially run the risk of banning your Sword Doggo, which is not what Aaron's going to want. Of course, we've seen Cottony as well, that, not something you would expect to be such a great support one, but this thing is proven to be a lot bulkier than it looks, and, it is just baby Whimsicott, and Draco's been able to put it to very good use. Along with the Zygarde 10%, Mr. Mime, Ferret, and the Monferno as well. Saw a bit of Ferret last week, a bit of that Follow Me, and again, proved to be a lot bulkier than you would first expect, but could prove useful here against Aaron's Surfers, so we will certainly see. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into this one. Then it is a Swindon rookie. He's taking on the Inglorious Surfers, and Draco kicking us off there with the Driplim, and the Tapu Koko has the Volcarona, Cottony, Yveltal, and the Zygarde 10% in his team. Aaron kicking things off with the Ludicolo and the Mega Aerodactyl, with the Zacian Crown, Rotom Heat, him on top, and the Marowak in there as well. So pretty much what you would expect from both sides, to be honest. I think that much is true, and they've got probably what is their best bets in each other's teams here. They're both, have clearly put some thought into this, and Aaron not starting out with the Sword Doggo is very surprising to see, but that Ludicolo, very scary, does have Fake Out as well. That Mega Aerodactyl does get access to Tailwind, and of course a Rock Slide from that thing is going to really hurt the likes of the Drifblim, so Draco using that Electric Seed as we expected, so that is going to proc the Unburden on that thing, so as Draco just decides what he wants to do. As the Mega does go off, there's the Fake Out into the Tapu Koko, seeing that there's going to be the biggest threat to that Mega Aerodactyl. The Tailwind goes up from both sides, and there you go. It is a turn 1. It's a Fake Out in the Koko, and both have the same idea, both get Tailwind up, and now we're back where we started. Drifblim, of course, is going to be the fastest thing here, after that Unburden proc. Aaron and Draco further proving that they are the same person and have the same mind. Some great nicknames once again this season, by the way. Mustache, Pineapple, Prehistoric, Cocoa Pops, good Yerblim. I will say I do miss Waka Waka Lele on Draco. It was a good time as the Protect comes out from the Mega Aerodactyl. There's the Icy Wind from the Drifblim, that's going to drop the speed on the on the Ludicolo, Thunderbolt blocked by that Protect. And there's the Icy Wind from the Ludicolo, so that's going to drop the speed on the Drifblim and the Koko. So Aerodactyl the only one not to be affected by the Icy Wind, but 2 turns in a row, and both having the same ideas at the same times here, I think there's been some under the money payments here. Like I think there's been some match fixing going on. What's going to be slowest after Icy Wind? Is it Tailwind boosted Aerodactyl, or is it going to be Tailwind boosted and Burn Driplam? You know? If I bet you 20 quid. No. The Mega Aerodactyl does switch out. There is the Marowak Icy Wind. That Marowak is going to do some special effective damage, but not that much as the Thunderbolt straight in that lightning rod. So great read there from Aaron, really nullifying that Tapu Koko, the Icy Wind job from that Ludicolo as well. We're going to drop the speeds even more as we've got 110 and Tailwind left on both sides. So, you know, just playing this one safe. Aaron just really going for full speed control. You know, that Ludicolo still sat here dancing away on turn number 4. Tapu Koko in a little bit of a spot now. You see no Electrum as he does choose to switch out as in comes the Yveltal, sets that Dark Aura in there as the Will-O-Wisp onto the Marowak. There's the Rock Slide, does miss the Yveltal, some super effective damage there. The Driplim, the Icy Wind is going to take out the Driplim, do some special effective damage to the Yveltal as well, and that is going to drop its speed as Tailwind does end, so not what Draco would have wanted, and it is advantage Aaron in this game number 1. Probably wants to move away from bringing in Tapu Koko here while the Marowak's still on the field, but he does choose to bring it back in, so obviously has something up his sleeve with that Koko. And I would imagine there's not only electric moves on that thing, so we'll see what happens. No Mega Diancie this time as well, which I forgot to add, so no Diancie this time, so Draco switching things up a bit, seeing it wasn't working with the Mega Diancie. Aaron playing pretty passively and cautiously so far. As in comes the Mega Aerodactyl again. There's Dazzling Gleam into that into both ones. There's the Oblivion Wing into the Yveltal. So another great read from Aaron there, seeing that Ludicolo would be at risk of the Oblivion Wing, and the Bone Meringue does miss the Koko as well. And you'd have to think that would have took out the Koko, or at least done some pretty big hefty damage. And that'll not have been what Aaron wanted. You know that you don't want moves to be missing. And does need to be careful that you vote as well. It can just keep buffing stuff up. With the Blooming Wizard tech comes out from that Marowak with Rock Slide from that Mega Aerodactyl. That does some big damage to both Koko and Yveltal. There's the Dark Pulse from the Yveltal, and that's going to take out the Mega Aerodactyl. And a little bit of damage away from the Life Orb on that Yveltal as well. And it is now 3v3. Koko and Yveltal on pretty low health, as well as Marowak. Marowak slowly having damage shift away from that burn as well. So he knows that he has Ludicolo on the back, and you would like to think that it is that Zacian Crown as the last mon. Can just bring it in just to finish things off. And then Ludicolo switches back in then, so not sure if that's the best bet there for Aaron. You know, I said an Oblivion Wing can come out here, but you know, does have that speed drop on the Yveltal. Could prove to be quite important in this matchup here. Oblivion Wing is going to really hurt as the Protect comes out from the Yveltal. There's the Fake Outs, the blocks of Fake Outs, good stuff there from Draco. And the Dazzling Gleam is now going to take out the Marowak, so that completely leaves the Ludicolo and the, well, just the Ludicolo now. It leaves it wide open to a Koko, but the Zacian Crown does switch in, does get that attack boost from the Intrepid Sword. And now Draco's got some thinking to do. You know, he's got to keep both these mons around as his best. You know, both his best bet for dealing with that Ludicolo. Does he have Volcarona in the back? Could really be a good answer to that Zacian Crown as well. Zacian has the pick of the bunch here, can go for either mon to try and take it out. The Nature's Madness comes out from the Tapu Koko. There's the Behemoth Blade. That is going to take out Yveltal. And the Muddy Water does miss the Tapu Koko. So Aaron just not getting lucky with the hits here. And it is these it's the Zygarde 10% that comes out then. So no Volcarona in the back for Draco then. So it's an interesting choice. I would have thought that would have came this game, but it obviously has a plan up his sleeve. Yeah, insert Aaron nearly swearing. Yeah, Aaron in his own footage got very, very upset at all the misses. Has been very, very unlucky with the RNG here. But it's all up to Tapu Koko and the Zygarde 10% now to try and take care of the Ludicolo and the Sword Dog. course, does have that 1,000 arrows move, the Thunderbolt into that Ludicolo, and not really doing all that much there. Is the Behemoth Blade, that's going to take out Zygarde 10%, the Muddy Water takes out the Coco, and that is game number 1 to Aaron T. Marshall. So Aaron starting off very, very strongly in that game 1, but very, very close games again. You know, that it was 2v2 there at the end, and the way Aaron's misses were going, it could have went either way, as Draco switching things up is now kicking off things with Cottony and Coco, and Aaron leading the line with that hyper offensive sort of moveset mons, Zacian, Crowder and Ludicolo, so has that fake out pressure from the Ludicolo, and of course Draco now knows that there's an Icy Wind kicking around in that Ludicolo's moveset as well as a Muddy Water. So, you know, game 1 might not have went totally to plan, but has got some good information on the moveset that Aaron is running. There's the fake out from the Ludicolo. The Charm comes out from the Cottony then, as we see the substitute launch from that Zacian Crown. So Charm dropping the Zacian's attack down. So that's a great move there on the Cottony. So some great team building on Draco's end there. Of course, Zacian is safe for now behind that substitute. And Ludicolo can, you know, pretty freely go for those icy wins. Electric Terrain is still up, so of course those electric attacks are going to be doing more damage. You would think that Aaron potentially has that Marowak rolling around in the back again. To be very careful here though, that Zacian, despite the attack drop, it is still going to be able to hit pretty damn hard. Draco just deciding what his best bet is, looks to be going for a swap, and he does as the Volcarona comes in. There's the Tailwind from the Cottony as well. Behemoth Blade is going to take Cottony down to its sash, and there's the Icy Wind, so that's going to take out Cottony, but it is going to drop the speed of that Volcarona. But Draco now able to get a free switch in, advantage to Aaron, 4v3. As Yveltal switches in now, and Draco does have speed control, and Aaron with no way to get that Tailwind up at the moment as well. And it doesn't have Mega Aerodactyl kicking around right now. But either way, Draco's got to get rid of that substitute on the Zacian before he does anything. There's the Heat Wave from the Yveltal. That's going to break the sub, and there's a little bit of damage to the Ludicolo and gets a burn. There is the Wild Charge into Yveltal, and that's going to do some recoil damage to the Zacian, but the Flamethrower is going to take out the Zacian, so Zacian goes down for the first time this season, and there's the Icy Wind to drop the speed a little bit more on that Volcarona and drop the speed on the on the Yveltal. Yveltal just about hanging on 11% HP, but it is now 3v3. Ludicolo on a bit of a timer now with that burn damage is now in. Comes the Mega Aerodactyl for Aaron. Can't get a Tailwind up here himself, but needs to, you know, keep Mega Aerodactyl healthy to be able to do that. As the Calco switches back in, there's the Mega Aerodactyl coming out. Protect comes out from Yveltal, so that's good stuff there from Draco. The Rock Slide comes out, that just takes Coco down below half damage. Muddy Water does hit this time, and that's Tapu Koko down below 20% HP, so Draco with quite a few mons on pretty low HP now, and Aaron, you know, with his Mega Aerodactyl on full HP, and Ludicolo still on quite a good amount of HP as well. That last mon still kicking around in the back as well for Aaron, so Aaron will be feeling pretty confident here. Draco, of course, not out of it just yet. I said does have Tailwind up, so has that speed control. Could go for an Oblivion Wind into Ludicolo here, unless Aaron makes the read, which he does. He brings it in the Rotom Heat. There's the Thunderbolt into the Mega Aerodactyl. Mega Aerodactyl goes straight down to that, and the Oblivion Wing is resisted by that Rotom Heat. So the Yveltal gets a little bit of HP back for its troubles. In comes Ludicolo then, but Ludicolo has no free switch-ins now, can go for a fake out now to come back in, but needs to be careful with that. Yveltal, one Oblivion Wing from that Yveltal is going to really hurt. And Draco still with that Volcarona in the back as well. And we've seen just the destructive power of Rotom Heat in the previous week, so Draco's going to have that in the back of his mind. You know, wondering what this thing's going to do. Is Aaron going to be ballsy and go for that nasty plot, or is he going to just go straight on the attack with an overheat? You would expect the Protect to come out from Draco's side, probably on that Yveltal, just to keep it kicking around. Got to go on the attack with the Coco, of course. We've already seen Nature's Madness, Dazzling Gleam, and Thunderbolt on that Coco, so, and of course Dazzling Gleam. So it does seem to be an Assault Vest set from Draco. The Protect does come out from the Yveltal. There it is. Fake out into the Coco, though, so Aaron reads that perfectly. And there's the Thunderbolt into the Yveltal. The Yveltal does at least block the Protect. So no real damage going off that time, but the Yveltal now is free to go for the Oblivion Wing that it wants to go for. You know, potentially may go down to Rotom Heat Thunderbolt, but you know, that means that it's left open for an attack from the Coco. So Draco in a pretty strong position in this game too, as Aaron about to drop his first game of the season as the Yveltal swaps it out and in comes the Volcarona. There's the Nature's Madness from the Coco, and that reveals the Citrus Berry on the Rotom Heat. Thunderbolt from that Rotom Heat into the Volcarona. The Giga Drain is going to take out the Coco as well, and Ludicolo gets some of that HP back thanks to that Giga Drain, as in comes Yveltal now. So both coaches really playing smart with the switch-ins here. Volcarona eating that Thunderbolt up from the Rotom Heat pretty well, like it was a delicious breakfast. Does need to be careful as well, and knows that Ludicolo is running a muddy water, so should it survive or, you know, be allowed to get an attack off, that Volcarona is not in a good spot. Got to think the Oblivion there is the Oblivion Wing. That is going to take out Ludicolo, and Yveltal is going to get back up to half HP thanks to that. Life Orb is going to take a little bit of damage away. There's the Flamethrower into the Rotom Heat. That's some good damage, but the Rotom Heat is going to take out the Yveltal, so gains another victim. This thing's kill count, it is just absolutely running house for Aaron. It has been phenomenal so far this season. And it is now a 1v2. It is Volcarona versus, 1v1, is Volcarona versus Rotom Heat. Decided to Flamethrower into that Rotom Heat. There is the Overheat from the Rotom Heat. Doesn't quite do enough, and the Citrus Berry is going to give Volcarona some of that HP back. There's the Flamethrower into Volcarona from the Volcarona into the Rotom Heat, and Draco takes game number 2, and Aaron has dropped a game. It is 1v1. What a match so far between these two. What an opening to this week's show. We've had a great match between Latvian and Crizzle, and then we've been treated an absolute spectacle here by Draco and Aaron. Playing this super well, and Draco choosing to stick with, you know, what works. Like we said last week, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Aaron as well sticking with the Zacian Crowned and the Ludicolo then. He just chooses to switch in that Volcarona first, so takes that fake out, hoping for the bends. Just get a critical. There's the charm from the Cottony as well. Behemoth Blade into that Volcarona, so Aaron not choosing to go for the substitute this time around. Does get his attack drop by that charm as well. And this dog does switch out. Tailwind comes out from the Cottony. There is the Flamethrower into that Rotom. So it's a really great switch out there from Aaron. And Muddy Water does not quite take out Volcarona, and that Citrus Berry is going to proc. So Aaron at least getting a bit lucky with the RNG this time with those Muddy Waters. But a great read there to switch out the Zacian. Had to protect it, had to keep it safe. And Draco, you know, he had to go on the attack there either way. You know, he couldn't risk that Zacian getting an attack off if Aaron did decide to leave it in. As the Volcarona switches it in, comes the Tapu Koko. Sunny Day comes out from the Cottony. And there is the Muddy Water. That's going to just, you know, lower that damage from those Muddy Waters on Ludicolo then. But does mean that those overheats, those fire moves on Rotom Heat are going to be doing that little bit more. So has he just buffed that Rotom Heat a little bit? We will certainly see. Ludicolo and Rotten Heat both just dancing away there. Rather menacing helping hand comes out from the Cottony. There's the Dazzling Gleam. It's going to resist well. Rotten Heat not going to do too much to the Ludicolo. The Overheat is going to take out the Cottony then, so the advantage to Aaron as the Icy Wind comes out to drop that speed on the Coco as well. One more tail of Terminus Tailwind up for Draco. So not a bad start from both coaches here, but Aaron with the advantage. Has revealed 3 of his Pokemon at this point. You'd like to think that Mega Aerodactyl is roaming around in the back just to take care of that Yveltal. Aaron fully aware that an Oblivion Wing may be waiting for him. You know, does have all of his Muns in the back, so can go for a switch out if he so desires. Aerodactyl and Zacian are both pretty handedly eat up an Oblivion Wing. So Aaron definitely has options at this point, but it's not over till the Fat Lady sings, of course. The Ludicolo does switch out. In comes the Zacian Crown, gets that Intrepid Sword up. The Protect comes out from the Yveltal. There's the Nature's Madness into the Zacian as Overheat comes out from the Rotten Heat, but it's dropping its special attack further and further. But Coco only just hanging on for dear life, and I said Aaron's still with all 4 Pokemon up, so not in a great position now is Draco. Doesn't want to see that Coco go down, but the Tailwind has gone, so that Zacian is going to be moving first. Could we see a few more switches here from Draco? Just try and lose some of that data as in comes the Volcarona. Then Rotom Heat switches out as in comes the Ludicolo. There's a Protect from Zacian, and there's the Heat Wave from the Yveltal. Not quite doing enough to Ludicolo, but does take it down below half HP. So Ludicolo now can go for a Fake Out if it so desires. Move on into turn number 7 then. What has Draco got in his locker to take out this Zacian? It has been the bane of every coach that's faced it up to now. But Draco the first one to take it down. Aaron been using it very, very well. It's all credit to Aaron. So he put together a very good team, very strong team. There's a reason why he's top of the leagues thus far. Of course, if you did miss out on last week's action, you can go over to our YouTube page and watch week 2 or week 1 of the British Pokemon League Season 3 as the Kogo does pop in, resets that Electric Surge. Protect comes out from that Yveltal, the Fake Out gets blocked by that. What has the Sword Doggo got in his locker? The Wild Charge is going to take out that Tapu Koko and give Draco that free switch in, come back in. Ludicolo is going to be able to get a Fake Out though, and Aaron now with a 4v2. Draco knows that there's a Wild Charge kicking around as well, and that's not going to be great with the Electric Terrain. It's going to be Electric Terrain boosted, so that's going to do a lot of damage this time around. There's the Wild Charge into the Volcarona, but there is the burn, so the burn finally goes down, but is it too little too late? There's the Heat Wave, and the Heat Wave is going to take out the Zacian Crown, and there you go, then Yveltal gets a kill. There's the Icy Wind to drop its speed, and takes it down to half HP. And now in comes that Mega Aerodactyl. This one looks all but over, but just for a second there, it looks like Draco may be able to find a way back into it, but it's hard to see him being able to get back onto level pegging at this point now, unless he's got something up his locker that we haven't seen thus far. As Ludicolo just switches out, in comes the Rotom Heat. Protect comes out from the Yveltal just to try and delay the inevitable rock slides coming out from the Mega Aerodactyl. Of course, he is going to still have that speed drop via that Icy Wind. Rock Slide comes out from the Mega Aerodactyl. That takes it out, and Aaron takes game number 3 and his 3rd match of the season. 3-0 goes Aaron T. Marshall. Is he repeating his form from last season where he went 5-0 before losing a match? We will certainly see. He's looking very, very difficult to stop. Draco, though, has come the closest, and Draco proving he's not someone to be messed with, putting on an absolutely superb performance we were just treated some absolutely great Pokemon action there. And again, GG's to both guys. Really put on a great match there. And again, thank you to Draco as well for sending me the footage over for that one. Always appreciated. Yeah, what a game, lads. 2 awesome matches to kick things off this week. And let's hope it continues for the rest of the matches tonight, because, damn, week 3 and we're already hotting things up in this league. You can just see how competitive it's got this season. You know, people are really going for it now. And it just seems to be just steadily improving as the seasons go on. And this is definitely what looks to be the most competitive the league's been thus far. So, always great to see. On to our 3rd game of the night then. It is the Wobbuffet Ninjas taking on the Long Island Goomies. So, of course, when the Ninjas were Bully Boys and Toadstool Belgrade, but mostly Bully Boys. Bully Boys, not Bully Buys. Bully Boy would be me. Bully Boys was the team. God damn it. Have that 5-0 head-to-head record over the Long Island Goomies. So, silly, not able to overcome the Bulu Boys in any of the matches they played, but last season, will give him his credit, came the closest he's ever came. By all accounts, should have definitely won the first match. Remains to be seen whether he should have won the second one. I still call BS on that on those fishes from the stupid baby hippo. Definitely one of the highlights of last season, and Silly does just seem to be just a sort of walking highlight reel a lot of the time. So it's always great to see this guy. Has a lot of laugh. I have a lot of respect for Silly either way. He's a great player. So as I said, he's put together a good team, and as you mentioned earlier in the show, it did take down the mighty Latvians Miami Heat last week in 2-0 fashion as well. And not many people can say they've 2-0'd Latvians. So, you know, really sort of saying to everyone in the league to sort of stand up and take notice for sure. The Ninjas, unfortunately, losing out to Silver's Tyranitar Tyrants last week. Genuinely, I was just impressed, but also I was perplexed and vexed at the same time. Silver played the stall game superbly well. Some of the techs on that team were just insane, especially on the Alolan Executor. I said he played just a great game. And everything I had planned went completely out the window. But yeah, not able to get things going against Silver. Did at least get a few more kills this time round. The Kangaskhan, you know, we've had Kangaskhan in every season of the British Pokemon League so far, and for good reason. This thing is just a joke. It is such a good Pokemon. You know that scrappy ability as well. It means no mon is safe. Not even ghost types are safe from its normal type attacks. And if you play cards right, you get a last resort off for this thing. It's going to hit you really, really hard. Not really seen very much of Mega Swampert as of yet. We saw it in that week 1, game 1 against Latvian, but you know, it seems to just. I think that we've just not been able to bring it where we wanted to. That 4 times grass weakness has been such a problem that pretty much the other team just needs to bring 1 grass move, and that, you know, if they've got speed control, the Swampert is just kind of screwed. It's just, yeah, it's gonna really struggle. So yeah, it's not being too great so far, but I'm hoping we get some usage out of it before the mid-season break. Anyway, Lunala didn't bring it last week, but this thing, I absolutely love this mon, of course, with the Shadow Shield. And Melmetal, again, like Swampert, haven't really been able to use it exactly how we wanted to, but you know, hopefully it will come into its own very soon. Politoed, one of 3 rain weather setters in the format. This thing is so bulky, man. It's great. I love Politoed, and there's a reason why Weo loves it as well. Volcanion, Hatterene as well. Saw Volcanion last week putting in a little bit of work. This with the water fire dual typing makes it a little bit difficult to predict. Of course, you know, works in the rain with that Politoed, or could potentially, you know, a sunny day setting, or you know, someone set up the sun for it, and it goes the other way as well. Hatterene we saw last week as well, that Trick Room setter. So Ninja's trying to switch things up with their Trick Room setter to make themselves a little bit less predictable, but again, not really working how they wanted it. Sableye, the quizzical Prankstamon. It is. I love this thing. I absolutely adore Sableye. Right on the team though is Serena, the Boltund, Kangaskhan, and the Electros. We've not really seen any of Electros yet, but could this be the game where it makes its debut? We will certainly see. Over on the side of Long Island Goomies, of course, the duo of Xerneas Blastoise, I would think, is going to be coming to this match. It is proved to be such a lethal duo thus far. You know, if there's no, you know, strong spread moves to take care of them, then they are, you know, that it's very easy to just let Xern get set up. Blastoise can go for a fake out turn 1, follow me after that, and Zen's just free to just get hits in where it wants. Same with Mega Salamence, you know, you pair this in with the Blastoise with the follow me and the Salamence. With that aerial ability, it means its normal type attacks do become flying type, which means, you know, the likes of Double Edge and things, you know, are going to hit the likes of the bug types, grass types really, really hard. Arcanine, that Intimidate as well, could prove useful in this game if that Melmetal or Kangaskhan, Serena come out in this game. So it might be something silly thinks about bringing. We saw a little bit of Empoleon's sort of slaying power last week. I love Empoleon. It's still one of my favourite mon on Silly's team. It's a great mon. Brewnham as well, we've seen run with that sash, sort of a sash support with that Spore. You know, it also has Effect Spore in its abilities as well, so could be useful in a game like this. You know, block a fake out and Effect Spore. You know, you're either going to get poisoned or put to sleep. Could prove useful. Fletchling, sorry. It is the Talonflame on Silly's team. This, you know, I'm so used to him having Fletchling that I just automatically call it Fletchling. It's probably just easier in my head, to be honest. And of course, landing at the line, Kamala, Carbink, Oricoria, and that Wormadam Sandy. So Silly not choosing to use that final 3 duo, but I never rule anything out with Silly. Is something you will have learned if you've been a long time watcher of the show. Of course, Silly, one of the Season 1 originals, so we had plenty of time to see exactly how this dude plays. But I'm going to stop my rambling. Let's get on to this one. It is the Long Arm Gummies taking on the Wobbuffet Ninjas, and the Ninjas leading the line with that Lunala and the Kangaskhan, Volcanion, Melmetal, Sableye, and Serena in the back. Silly leading things off with the Xerneas and Blastoise, as you would expect. The Arcanine, Breloom, Talonflame, and Mega Salamence in the back. So Protect comes out from Zen and Blastoise both in turn 1, so that's going to block the Protect and Kangaskhan. But it does allow Lunala to get the Trick Room set up then there. So Silly had to go for that, you know, he's got it, he had to block the Protect either way, but it does mean that he's allowed the Ninjas to get the speed control up. And this is where the Ninjas team just thrive as Salamence does switch in, gets that Intim off, but Scrappy is going to block that Intim. There's the Calm Mind on Lunala, there's a Water Spout from Blastoise, doing big damage there to Kangaskhan, but that Calm Mind allowing Lunala to pretty comfortably live that as a double edge takes Blastoise down to half HP. The recoil taking Kangaskhan below half HP. That's Mega Salamence, not exactly, you know, what you want in this scenario to you know, live under Trick Room, but Silly just maybe trying to keep that Xerneas around until Trick Room, you know, runs out. At which point you can maybe get a Geomancy off and start things going. There's the Mega Salamence going, the Moon Geist Beam comes out, and that takes Salamence down to 6% HP. There's the Water Spout doing a little bit more damage to both Kangaskhan and the Lunala. Double Edge taking Blastoise down to 6%. There's the Double Edge from the Salamence, but it takes itself out with the recoil damage. And oh my goodness, all 4 mons on the field, sorry, all on very low HP as in comes Arcanine and Lurin Timmon. 2 turns of Trick Room left to go. Blastoise on very, very low HP. Helping Hand comes out from that Arcanine, but there's the Moongeist Beam into the Arcanine. That is going to take it out in one, so it is a 4v2 as Thunder Punch takes out Blastoise, and all of a sudden, with 1 turn left to Trick Room, it is a 1v4 then, so Silly in one hell of a spot then. With the Zen, you know, could go for Protect here and allow itself to get Geomancy up next turn. As he does do that, Protect comes out, and, you know, obviously block both attacks there from Matt's side. Protect comes out from the Kangaskhan as Geomancy does get set up. Maybe the wrong move there from Matt. I should maybe went for full attack as the Moongeist Beam not going to do very much, and now Trick Room is gone, and Xerneas now can thrive here. This could be where Silly brings it back with a 1v4. This Zen very capable of doing that as in comes the Melmetal. Melmetal going to tank that Dazzling Goo, and Kangaskhan is going to go down. And Melmetal, not one for working the Trick Room, but unless Silly's got something on that Zen to deal with said Melmetal, it's in a bit of a spot as now Volcanion comes in. There's the Focus Blast though, the Focus Blast, that'll do it, that'll take care of the Melmetal. Melmetal goes down. The Sludge Bomb though comes out from the Volcanion as in comes the Lunala. Zen with just hanging on with 29%, he hasn't got enough in his socket to take both out. Of course, the Fairy type attack is going to be resisted by that Volcanion. Dazzling Gleam is going to take out that Lunala, so all of a sudden it's a 1v1, but the Volcanion is going to get the job done, takes it out with the Sludge Bomb, and the Ninjas win their first game of the season, and they go 1-up in this match, and the Ninjas choosing not to, you know, if it ain't broke, don't, you know, don't fix it. Lunala and Kanga sticking with it, and Silly changing us up with the Arcanine and Blastoise then, so aiming to maybe get some damage away on that Lunala. You know, Arcanine does have some dark type moves in its arsenal. Fake out comes out from that Kangaskhan though. That does some big damage. The water spout there that gets a critical hit on Kanga and takes down below half HP. There's the Trick Room goes up. So speed control well on the Ninja's side again. Will we see a Calm Mind come out again from that Lana? Protect comes out from the Kangaskhan. There's the Moongeist Beam into the Arcanine. That's going to take out Arcanine advantage to the Ninjas. There's the Water Spout doing a little bit of damage away at that Lunala, but still above half HP. What does Silly do here then? So has started off with the Xenips. Now in comes the Mega Salamence then. So no Mega on the Ninja side, what is worth noting. I've already burned that Fake out from Kangaskhan. And 3 times of Trick Room left to go again. Salamence not really going to work too well on Trick Room. There's a helping hand from the Blastoise. Moongeist Beam into that Salamence. Takes down the 30% of speed. There's the double edge. That's going to take out the Salamence. Whether the crit matter there, I don't think so. That's some big damage away from Kangaskhan. And it's now 2 times of Trick Room left to go. And it's all up to Blastoise and Zen. And this is not where Zen wants to be. You know, it's got 2 turns to go. There's no real point in setting up Geomancy. Could maybe protect and try and delay the inevitable. Could go for a double protecting and try and keep up. There's the Thunderbolt from the Lunala. Water Spout, because of that, is not going to do anywhere enough. And the Thunder Punch from that Kangaskhan is going to take up Blastoise. And Zen now has it all to do with the 1v4 with 1 turn left of Trick Room. This one looks to be over. Calm Mind comes out from the Lunala. There's the double edge into the Zen. Takes it down below half HP with Kangaskhan. Does take itself out. Geomancy does go up from that Zen. And Trick Room now has gone. So Xenius is in a bit of a good spot here. But that Calm Mind is up for Lunala. So potentially could be living a Dazzling Gleam here. Volcanion is going to resist, as I said, that Fairy type attack. Because it is running a Focus Blast, but that is only 7% accurate. There's a Dazzling Gleam from the Zen. Lunala does just hang on from that and does get Trick Room back up again. And this one's going to be over there. There's the Sludge Bomb from the Volcanion. Moongeist Beam is going to finish things off. And the Ninjas get their first win of the season over the Long Island Goomies. Silly's way to win a match over Mattstar, over myself, carries on. I will say, I think that would have went very differently. Unfortunately, Silly did forget to put Follow Me on Blastoise. These things happen. Not the first time it's happened with Silly versus me. You may remember Season 1. Someone forgot to put Gale Wings onto their Flatshine. You know, this is what happens when you build a team last minute. But I'm not going to rag on the guy. It was still a really fun match. I was really glad to get to use Lunala in a different way. You know, got Trick Room set up, but then was able to use it as a sweeper, which had not been able to do thus far. You know, Volcanion, I mean Kangaskhan as well. Kangaskhan just absolutely sensational. Got very scared at the end of game 1 there. I'm not going to lie. I really thought the Zen was going to just 1v4. That would have been very, very embarrassing. But, you know, kudos to Silly. He still played that really well despite the not following me on the Blastoise, and GG's to the guy. And, yeah, really great stuff. And hopefully Silly will bounce back next week. On to match number 4 then. It is the Nicer Sidonia taking on Newcastle Thundurus. So both these guys losing out in their week 2 matches. Dave yet to win a game. You know, with Dave's team, I don't think he's quite been able to work it out, exactly how he's wanted to do. It's still a work in progress. He's still seeing, you know, what makes the team click, what doesn't. He has got 3 of his most used and favourite mons there though, Incin, Ferrothorn and Deed Lantern. And of course, you know, I think that Suicune has just been phenomenal for him so far. You know, in that first match versus me, you know, okay, he was undone by the Mega Charizard and Groudon, but, you know, more than held his own in the stall game, and that, you know, Dialga really put in the work in that match 1 as well. We'll forget what happened, and we'll forget the match versus Aaron. I don't think that quite went the way Dave wanted it to, but, you know, match 1, week 1, showed there's a little bit of threat of this team, and I definitely think Jabba cannot underestimate this lineup. As already mentioned, the Dialga, such a bulky mon. You know, and you know, it's such a good legendary. You know, itself and Palkia can be really, really hard hitters as well. As I said, not really been able to use the Mega Sableye how he's wanted to. Maybe this time round can maybe get Trick Room going up, and Mega Sableye can maybe start doing a bit more than he wanted to. You know, so we could see that Runerigus come out this week. As I said, Incin, Ferrothorn. Need I say more? You know, he didn't have Ferrothorn last season, but he's had Incineroar every season so far. This guy knows how to use Incin. He knows how to play the pivot play really well, and that's where Dave comes into his own. Of course, has the Tapu Lele as well there for Psychic Surge. This thing is a good support mon in its own as well. You know, Drampa as well don't sleep on this thing. You know, not only has Cloud9, which, you know, is going to block weather teams. Not that Jabba's is a weather team, but, you know, could be useful against something like that. Tyranitar blocks that, but also gets the ability Berserk. So, you know, just like Moltres Galar, get this thing below a certain amount of HP, and you're going to buff this thing's special attack. So always something to be careful of. Of course, has the Carnivine and the Probopass there as well. Probopass, super bulky. Of course, does have those 2 4x weaknesses, but is a really good support mon in its own right as well. And again, another great mon under Trick Room. So maybe something Dave looks to get up. However, setting up Trick Room against Jabba's team does come with its own risks. Of course, that Escavalier is, and Bronzor, very slow mons. That Escavalier, especially if this thing gets a Sword Dance up, Escavalier can just wreck through a team. Even if it doesn't get Sword Dance up, this thing has such a high attack stat that it can do big work, as we saw against Dogsy in week 1. But thus far, Jabba has been sticking with his guns, sticking with that very bulky Lugia. You know, gets one Calm Mind set up, and this thing can really go to town. Didn't quite work out, I said last week against me. You know, I think the team's sort of pretty big weakness to fire really sort of came to fruition in that game, and, you know, just did not quite get it to go the way he wanted. But I think this time around, if he could play a bit more with a bit more hyper offense and just sort of go on the attack, it might lean him well, especially if Dave's going to try and get the Trick Room up. Keep an eye out for that Clef Key as well, the Prankster Keys. Has access to a whole host of very fun moves like Metal Sound, gets Thunder Wave, and Switcheroo. So always something that Dave's got to keep an eye on. Serperia as well with that. Oh my god, with that. Contrary ability. Jesus Christ, my brain just went numb for a second. Contrary ability, of course, which we saw in week 1. You don't take care of this thing and let this thing get set up, and it gets very terrifying very quickly. Alola Marowak as well with Salamence. As well as the Fletch Inder. All super good mons. Of course, Fletch Inder with Quick Guard and Tailwind. You know, with those Gale Wings, gets those flying type moves as priority. And Bronzor lighting out the line as well, if Jabba wanted to go for his own Trick Room. But before my brain falls to pieces anymore, let's get into this next one. I will prefix this next match was recorded from a replay, so it will be going at quite a high pace, so I will try and keep up with it as best I can. But Jabba leading the line with the Lugia and the Klefki has Mega Lucario, Bronzor, Fletchinder, and Scabby in the back. Dave leading the line with Incin and Ferrophone, has Renarigus, Dialga, Suicune, and drop in the back, goes to the fake out into the Klefki as the Lugia goes for the Calm Mind of the Leechy, comes out from the Ferrophone. They're already getting those stall tactics in. Metal Sound into the Incin's not going to work though, it's a dark type monster. Bit of a mistake on Jabba's side. The Aeroblast not doing half as much as Incin. His parking shot comes out and in comes the Suicune, then Suicune letting focus, and Eye Defense goes up the Ferrophone. Those Leech Seeds slowly just boosting Ferrophone's HP back up and taking a bit of chip damage away at Lugia every time. Scald is going to get the ban on that Lugia though, and Leechy goes off against that Klefki as well. So it doesn't matter if Jabba's going to roost here, he's always going to be losing HP every time. The Aeroblast comes out though, and Suicune lives that for a critical hit, which is absolutely sensational. 4D Press is going to take the Klefki down to 6% HP, and the Seeds are going to take the Klefki out, as now in comes the Mega Lucario. Suicune swaps out as in comes the Incin, gets that Intim off on the Lucario, but I would think his special Lucario Detect comes out from Lucario. Aeroblast taking Incin down to 30% HP, body press blocked by that Detect, and Lugia's health slowly chipping away. Fake out comes out from that Incin, flinches that Lucario. There's the Aeroblast, is going to take out the Incin this time, so Jabba ties up, but the body press from the Ferrophone takes out the Mega Lucario, and Ferrophone's just slowly but surely just taking out the Lugias. Now in comes the Suicune. Suicune starts out for that Protect. Roost is going to get Lugia back above full HP, but again, it is slowly but surely losing HP each time. Drill Run blocked by that Protect on the side of Dave, so the Escavalier not getting any kills off there. Roost comes out again from Lugia, so just trying to keep it around. The Snarl now comes out, drops a special attack even further on the Lugia, but that is going to proc the weakness pulse, so gets itself back above just under neutral. There is the lead seed into the Escavalier, and the Drill Run. Somehow, this Suicune just does not die. Suicune doesn't go down that Drill Run, gets a Protect off. That Aeroblast is going to get blocked by Protect, and the Body Press now into that Escavalier going for these Saurs and trying to get its attack boosted up, but those leech seeds slowly chipping away at the house as Erebus finally takes out the Suicune, and it is 2v2 as Iron Defense goes off in the first one. There's the Drill Run, but the Iron Barbs and the Rocky Helmet are going to take out the Escavalier. So Dave just playing this one super smart with item and move choices, just slowly stalling Jabber out as we're on to 10, number 11. Hyper Voice is going to allow Jumper to get a special attack boost from that throw spray, and there's the body press into Lugia, takes it 11% HP. This Lugia is going to die on this next turn regardless. There's the Hyper Voice into Lugia, the body press comes out, that's going to take it out 13. The Ben and the Seed's going to take it out, and Dave also gets his first game win of the season. Played that one super smart against Jabba. You know, Jabba just playing that one a little bit too passively, I think, not going for damage. And Dave just fully able to get set up, and Dave leading the line with Neragus and Incin this time. Jabba leading the line with Fletchinder, and the Lugia. So Quick Guard comes out from that Fletchinder, and the Calm Mind on the Lugia. And Snarl comes out from the Incin. That's a great read there from Dave, seeing that, you know, that either way Lugia was going to go for the Calm Mind. And drops his stats as Trick Room goes off from the Neragus. Jabba seeing that sets up the Escavalier, but the Reneragus goes to the Stealth Rock. And there's the Snarl again from Incin, just dropping their special attacks. Not that Escavalier is going to mind that too much. And there's the knockoff on the Suicune. That's going to drop its leftovers. Flare Blitz takes out the Escavalier though, and Incin taking a bit of chip damage from the recall. There's Bronzor now switches in those Stealth Rocks, slowly doing damage away to the ones that switch in. Snarl's going to drop that Bronzor special attack, and it is special effective damage, so it is going to. So he's taking on the Snarl, does miss from the Suicune. There's the Fly into the Incin, but it's only Fletch in there, and all that does is proc the Citrus Berry, and Incin's back up to 75% HP. Bronzor blocks that Flare Blitz from a Protect, but Skull's going to take out the Fletch in there, and now Lugia comes in, those Stealth Rocks doing a bit of chip damage away. Reflect is up from the Bronzor goes to the Protect, and there is the Calm Mind again. So Jabba choosing to play this one still quite passively then, allowing Dave to just go for those stat drops, and it's a double Snarl from Suicune and Incin, so just slowly dropping the special attack and the HP of Lugia. Lugia go for the Air Power, but that's not going to do anything thanks to those stat drops. There's the Snarl again from the Suicune. Bronzor just slowly going down, and the Snarl does miss the Lugia this time, but Bronzor HP slowly being chipped away. Jabba goes for the Calm Mind again, but it's just not going to be enough when the double Snarl's coming out. Dave just able to slowly chip away, and there's the parting shot as now in comes the Ferrothorn. Trick Room goes off in the Bronzor, but that's only aided the Dave with his Ferrothorn. Leech Seed does miss, but Snarl comes out. It doesn't quite take out Lugia or Bronzor, but there's the Calm Mind from that Lugia. Trick Room gets reset by the Bronzor, the Ally Switch comes out. There's the Air Power, but it's just doing nothing in the Suicune. Suicune does now take out Bronzor with that Snarl, and it is now all up to Lugia as Leech Seed misses again. Had it hit that, I think that would have been game over, as Lugia now goes for his Roost, trying to get that HP back up, but it just can't do anything. Jabba can't get anything going here while these Snarls are coming out. And Dave's just fully free to set those up. There's another Snarl from the Suicune. The absolute scenes. The Leech Seed finally does go off. Finally going to be able to take a bit more chip damage with that Lugia. Lugia going for the Roost again. Jabba just trying to keep the Lugia around for a little bit longer, but I think it's just done for at this point. It's just got no special attack. He can't switch it out. There's no point going for Calm Minds because he's just going to get snarled. The best he could do is maybe hope for, you know, Suicune to run out of PP on those snarls, but at that point it's going to be too late. You know, the time is going to run out. I think at that point now Incin comes in, it's Intim. The Ben has gone off with the Scald as well, so that Lugia slowly but surely losing HP to those Leech Seeds and the Ben damage, and all he can do is just Roost to try and keep himself in this one, but again he could potentially run out of Roost PP, and it is now back to double Snarl here on turn number 17. And this one looks all but over. Dave playing the stall game to perfection, and there's the Flare Blitz. So Dave now going on the attack, decided he's had enough. And Lugia going to slowly but surely go down to those hits. Snarl and Scald's going to do a little bit of chip damage away. You know, has still got the special defense move thanks to those Calm Minds, but Flare Blitz is a physical move, so it's not going to matter. There is down to 9% HP now. One more Roost. Is this going to be it? There's the Scald. Takes it at 51. The Flare Blitz to 7. The Ben and the Leech Seed damage are going to take it out. And Dave takes this one 2-0 and gets his first win of the season. Honestly, was so much fun to watch despite how boring that looked. It really wasn't. It was just phenomenal to see Dave just completely stall Jabber out like that. You know, Stall's not something you typically see in doubles, especially not anymore since we've had like Dynamax and things, but in this Series 10 format, it's a style of play that can work if you know how to play it, and if you're able to just slowly but surely slow your opponent down. With mons like Suicune, with them being so bulky and having things like Inner Focus, doesn't get intimidated, can't get fake outed. You're in such a good position, and when he's got that instant as well, running those parting shot pivot plays, it just gets scary very, very fast. God forbid that Dave had Entei or had Lando Therian as well. I think the league would definitely be put on notice on that point. But GG's to both coaches. As I said, I think Jabba played that one a little bit too passively, but I can see what he was going for there. It could have worked if he'd maybe went on the hyper offense, but there's always next time. Still plenty of Pokemon left to play, of course. But on to game match number 5. It is the Tyranitar Tyrants taking on the California Bastiodons. These two yet to meet in the British Pokemon League, of course. As you can see there, they're head-to-head 0-0. Both on a 1-1 record. And both getting their first wins of the season last week. Of course, Oma getting his first win over Draco. And Silver getting his first win over the Ninjas, respectively then. So, as we saw so far from Silver's team, it's a little bit hard to predict, but it's very, very similar in a similar vein to Dave's team. It is very stall heavy, it is very bulky. You've got the likes of Toxapex, Golem, Registeel, Alolan Executor, all with pretty big bulk. The Octillery as well, and it's not the bulkiest thing in the world, but if he's able to get Protects off and rests off like we saw in week 1 and gets the right Moody boosts, it can become very scary very quickly. And then if those mons don't get the job done with their stalling, with the sort of defense boosts or toxics, then you've got the Cali Shadow to just come in and absolutely wreck house with an Astro Barrage. Of course, Crobat as well, proving to be a good support one there, can get Tailwind up, has got access to things like Toxic and things like that. Mega Gengars, I don't think it's quite worked thus far for Silver. Week 1 got kind of wrecked by Yveltal, so whether it comes here, I don't know, but could work really well into Oma's sort of ghost-heavy weakness team. And then, of course, Altaria as well, not something we've seen so far from Silver, but as we said last week, could be really good against a lot of the weather teams in this league. Over on Oma's side then, so we wrote Oma off, didn't we, after week 1, and I think that was very much a mistake, proving that his team is not to be messed with last week. That Mega Metagross putting in an absolute clinic against Draco's Swindon Rookidee, so do not sleep on this thing, and Solgaleo as well. And has proved that it's not just a one-trick pony. He knows very well how to use Aerodactyl, and Garchomp and Chandelure as well, proven to be really good assets for this team. Chargerbug as well, despite it's not got much attacking prowess, but can be a really good support one with its battery ability. And of course Riolu as well, it gets access to both weathers. I believe in this format as well gets access to Follow Me. So it can be a really scary Pokemon. And of course Comfey as well with that triage ability can sit there and just, as long as it's alive, can just get those floral healings up. And any other healing moves such as Giga Drain, things like that are going to get priority. But without further ado, let's get into this one. It is the Tyranitar Tyrants taking on the California Bastiodons, and Silver is leading the line with the Mega Gengar and the Crobat, as Oma goes for the Garchomp and Basculin then, so no Mega Metagross, Jirachi or Solgaleo leading the line this time. Mega Metagross is in the back there with Chandelure, Aerodactyl and Comfey. Silver has his Calyrex Shadow, Airshifter, Octillery and Altaria in the back. So no Alolan Executor this time, so no Alolan Executor to give me horrible, creepy nightmares with its Toxic and Rest spam. So Silver may be expecting that Mega Metagross or the Chandelure to leave the line this time, but the Basculin is at the risk of a Ghost move here. And of course go for speed with that Crobat. Can get a Tailwind up at the very least, but it should be faster either way. After it comes out from the Basculin, that does so much damage, and there's the Dragon Claw and takes out the Mega Gengar again. Mega Gengar goes down in 10-1, but Crobat does get Tailwind up. And in comes the Calyrex Shadow then. So is this where the Silver just wrecks house then this thing with those Astral Barrages? If there's no Wide Guard, which there wouldn't be on either of those Pokemon, Oma's in a bit of trouble. Can maybe play around with the switch in to try and live one of those attacks. That Basculin's definitely at risk. And Garchomp's not in a great position either, you know. It's pretty bulky, is Garchomp, don't get me wrong. There's the Aqua Jet from the Basculin again, big damage. There's the Astral Barrage, that's going to take out the Basculin, and the Shell Belt is going to give some HP back to the Calyrex Shadow, and gets a special attack boost thanks to the Grimnir. There's the Dragon Heart and the Crobat not quite taking out the Crobat, but speed control well on Silver side, and now in comes the Metagross. This is not what Orma would have wanted. It's not positioned very well. Not only has that thing had a special attack boost, but has full speed control, and this could very well go very badly, very quickly. Bullet Punch comes up, there's the priority, but not doing enough to Cali Shadow, and the Astral Barrage takes out both Garchomp and Mega Metagross, and all of a sudden, turn number 3, it is now a 1v3 Aerodactyl with it all to do on the side, and this one very much already looks over and done with. You know, great start of the game from Orma, able to take on that Mega Gengar, but once Cali Shadow got in the field, it was just, you know, it was too late, as the Protect is going to block that Shadow Ball from the Cali Shadow. Onto turn number 5. Look at that thing, special attack now, 2.5 times special attack. There's just nothing in the world stopping this thing, unless they've got a Wide Guard or they've got a normal type one, you know, there's just no stopping it. Seemingly trying to decide what to do here, but this one already looks like a foregone conclusion. Shadow Ball is going to take Aerodactyl down. It's Sash. Tailwind comes out from Crobat. There's the dual Wing Beat. Is that going to take out Cali Shadow? No, not going to quite do enough. That is surely going to be game. Some good information there for Silver as well, seeing that Aerodactyl has got the Sash. Protect does come out from that Aerodactyl, so Orma just maybe trying to delay the inevitable and just delay that Tailwind. Not that I think it makes too much difference, to be honest. Just get the double Protect off though. Can he do this? Can he get the triple Protect? I wonder. Surely not, and it does fail, and the Cali Shadow is going to round things up. Gets all 4 kills in that game, and Silver goes 1-0 up in this one. As I said, not a great start from Orma. That Ghost type weakness really coming to fruition, as Silver choosing to switch things up a little bit and goes for the Mega Gengar and Artillery, and Orma this time starting out with Garchomp and Aerodactyl, so dropping the Basculin this time, aiming for some, you know, maybe some speed control with Aerodactyl or some damage off. You know, we've seen anything has Dual Wind Beat and Rock Slide, and of course Protect will have Tailwind as well. Can Mega Gengar do anything this time? Can it live through turn 1? Are we about to see some Protect and UV boosts for that Artillery Mega Gengar? So there's the Ally Switch. Airquake comes out from the air, the Garchomp, and that's going to take out the Mega Gengar. Dual Wing Beat into the Artillery. Artillery just about hangs on. There's the Ice Beam into the Garchomp though. Gets the crit and Garchomp goes down. That's a great trade there from Silver. And ties things up at 1 apiece. So it's 3v3. Earthquake doing such big damage. Mega Gengar did not stand a chance, so it looks to be Scarf Garchomp for it to be moving before something like Mega Gengar's. Now in comes the Crobat. So Comfort not going to enjoy Crobat being facing it, you know, one poison movement and Comfort ought to do quite a bit of hefty damage. Orma, if he does have Metagross kicking around the back, could maybe choose to return it. In comes Protect comes from the Artillery Giga Drain, just get blocked on that. There's the Cross Poison. It does have the Kibia Berry, so that's going to lower some of that attack, and there's the Dual Wing Beat. The Crobat takes it down just above half HP, so good item choice there from Orma, just stopping that Comfort from going down too quickly. Knows this time around you can go for Giga Drain to go to get some HP back, and that will take care of Tailwind as well. And nice Silver decides to switch it out. Metagross switches, and then there's the Dual Wing Beat. Is that going to take out Crobat? Crobat just about hangs on. There's the Cross Poison, that's going to be immune that Mega Metagross, and there's the Ice Beam, which is going to resist as well. So this is not looking good for Silver. Then Crobat and Artillery on 2% and 4% health HP respectively. Mega Metagross and still kicking around, and Aerodactyl still on 4 HP, and of course Comfort still in the back. Presumably Cali Shadow is the final one for Silver. There's the Metagross goes Mega Bullet Punch is going to take out the Crobat. Dual Wing Beat is going to take out Artillery, and this is much more like it from Orma. It is now a 1v3. Cali Shadow with it all to do then. very scary position for Silver, but if anyone can do the 1v3, it would be Cali Shadow there, protect from Cali Shadow, and their wide guard, so that's good information for Silver there. See, the Aerodactyl has wide guard, knows he can't risk those Astral Barrages, but like protect wide guard can't be spammed, it can be, but you know, you risk the low chance. Protect comes out from both Mega Metagross and Aerodactyl, stops that Shadow Ball from going off. Mega Metagross not likely to live a Shadow Ball from Cali Shadow. Has Silver got me in block it, anything else, and Comfey switches in there, the protect comes out from the Cali Shadow, stops that dual wing beat from going off, so Silver just playing this one quite cautiously, just trying to get that information. Draining Kiss comes off Comfey, so gets up some of that HP back. There's the Astral Barrage, so Omen not going for the wide guard. That Comfey and Aerodactyl do hang on there, so dual wing beat, but it misses on the Aerodactyl. How huge could that dual wing beat miss be then? As you know, the 10 and protect goes out from Cali Shadow. There's the wide guard from Aerodactyl, so some great reads there from Silver, playing this one super smartly. Does he go for the Shadow Ball, or does he try the Astral Barrage again, take out the ball? Wide guard comes out from the Aerodactyl, but there's the Draining Kiss. Comfey gets some of it HP back, but the Shadow Ball comes out there. Great read there from Silver, and that takes out the Comfey, and is now a 1v2 then. Saw that the Bullet Punch not doing a whole lot to Cali Shadow, but enough of those, it might be enough to take it back. There's the Shell Bell. Shell Bell's getting those damage back for Cali Shadow. So presumably can try and go for the protect on the Metagross, keep it around and try and maybe go for damage on the Aerodactyls, whether Silver goes for the read, gets the read correct. There's a protect from Cali Shadow, protect comes out from Mega Metagross, so smart stuff there again from Silver, you know, just making the Metagross bench protect. And Aerodactyl showing that it has a bulldoze. There's a protect, fails on the Mega Metagross. Shadow Ball is going to take it out, and it is now a 1v1. Is Cali Shadow about to do it then? Shell Ball gets it back to just nearly half HP. There's a bulldoze, that's going to drop the speed on the Cali Shadow. Not sure whether that means it is. It is now slower than the Aerodactyl. Dual wing beat, not quite doing enough. There's his Shadow Ball though. That's going to finish it off. And Orma goes down. Silver takes this one. 2-0. Cali Shadow take a bow. Game number 1, it gets 4 kills. Game number 2, it gets 3 kills. Putting on an absolute clinic with the 1v3 in game number 2 there as well. Sensational stuff from Silver, and he carries on that week 2 victory into week 3 and now goes 2-1. Orma unfortunately drops to the 1-2. As I said, that ghost type weakness, that is probably the team where like something like that, a weakness like that is going to be sort of, you know, exposed. But I think still played that relatively well, you know, just got I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but just got outplayed in the end by Silver. Silver just, you know, able to just play that really conservatively and smart and just read those protects and wide guards and just let Orma burn through them, and that Cali Shadow just go on the offensive next turn, you know, knowing that the bullet punches weren't going to do enough. But had he not played that the way he did, you know, a dual wing beat bullet punch would have eventually taken out the Cali Shadow. So unlucky there from Orma, and GG's to both coaches. That was a really, really fun match to watch, and Silver really looking like the real deal then, you know, after that week 1 loss. Weren't too sure because it's still early days, but, you know, 2 pretty massive victories, you know, over our, you know, season 2 third place team, and our season 1 runner-up as well. So, you know, one of our season 1 runner-ups. So you cannot count him out, cannot count anyone out at this early stage, and Silver making a good start to life. But on to our final match of the evening. It is Dogsy ShadowKings taking on Memes Space City PC. Just like the last game, both of these coaches getting wins last week. Of course, Space City yet to drop a match, yet to drop a game on that 2-0 record. Dogsy ShadowKings, after losing out in week 1 to Jabba, able to get that 2-1 win over Crizzle's South Croydon Saurs. You know, I will apologise to Dogsy. I said this last week. I put down the Necrozma. I thought, it's just a bad legendary. This thing has been phenomenal for Dogsy. You know, put in good work in week 1. You know, he might have took the loss week 1, but still put in the work. And then last week it was, you know, super vital as well. And as you know, as well as Greninja and that Illumies as well, have been phenomenal for Dogsy so far. And can't forget about Mega Kangaskhan, that parental bond ability. Just, you know, anything that's got a sash, if it's able to get it down to sash, that parental bond just helps it get over that, and it's such a useful ability. It's why it's one of the best megas in the format, and Dogsy has put together a very strong team here. Of course, Ditto as well could prove to be quite useful in this matchup. If it's able to copy that Mega Charizard, who knows what could happen at that point is all I'm gonna say. Two Mega Charizard and a Groudon on the field at the same time, I think I would probably wet my pants. Not gonna lie. We saw as well last week, Gastrodon paired really very well with Greninja with those Surfs, allowing the Storm Drain to give that special attack boost. So could be something we see again. That Illumise does have access to weather, both Sunny Day and Rain Dance. So could work well to reverse both the weathers setters on Meme's team. And rounding out the team, of course, we've got Beartick, we've got Dreadnought, and we've got Galarian Stunfisk, and do not forget about Bisharp as well as Darkrai. Waiting for Dogsy to pull off that Darkrai strat, just patiently waiting for it. I'm sure it's coming soon. I know you're in chat, Dogsy. I'm waiting to see it. Even if you bring it in week 11 versus us, I'll be happy if we see it once. Over on Meme's side, then, any more need to be said about that Mega Charizard and Groudon duo? I don't think there is. We don't need to sugarcoat it. This duo is the real deal, and Meme has put together a very, very strong team. That it all pairs up with and matches up with each other really well. Of course, Charm with its ability can boost attacks of its allies under the sun with that Flower Gift ability. We saw Umbreon be a super useful support mon with those stat drop moves, and of course Moonlight to boost its own HP back up. Rotom Wash, not typically what you'd expect to be good in a Sun team, but it works really, really well, surprisingly. And of course Venusaur as well, that Chlorophyll ability is going to get full benefit from the sun. And Mienshao, Togekiss, need I say more? Two very, Togekiss super bulky, gets access to screens, and of course in this format just get Tailwind. Mienshao gets a Fake Out, it's just an all-round very, very good mon, isn't it? And Dusknoir there with the Trick Room, and leading things off, we've got Galarian Linoone and the Wartortle as well. Wartortle baby Blastoise, gets Follow Me, gets Fake Out. Not something you'd want in a Sun team, but just for those support moves alone, I think it is valuable. So Meme, is going to be a very scary opponent for a lot of teams this season, just for how fluid that team works together. But I'm going to stop me rambling. Let's get into our final match of week number 3. It is Dogsy ShadowKings taking on Meme Space City, and Dogsy there with the Necrozma, Mega Kangaskhan, Gastrodon, Greninja, Beartick, and the Illumise, and Meme with the Groudon, Mega Charizard, Togekiss, Mienshao, Wartortle, and Galarian Linoone. Dogsy leading the line with that Illumise and Mega Kangaskhan, so maybe expecting that weather straight off the bat and maybe looking to change that weather. Meme kicking things off with Mienshao and the Galarian Linoone then, so not typically the lead we've seen from Meme, although a lot of the times we do see him start with something, 2 mons to sort of set things up, and then bring the Groudon and the Charizard in late game just to sort of clean up because they're just so strong. Last week it didn't end up mattering because they just wreck things from the beginning of jump. There's a Kangaskhan goes for its Mega. Fake Out comes out from the Mienshao, so Mienshao is of course faster, so that flinches the Mega Kangaskhan, and the Illumise goes for the Tailwind, and the Galarian Linoone gets the burn. That's going to proc the Quick Feet though. Is it going to make it fast enough though after that Tailwind to be able to do anything here? That's a really cool tech there from Meme. That's why I said, he's got just such a well-rounded team. It's not just all up to that Mega Charizard and Groudon that's just full of little fun gimmicks. And the Drain Punch though, it's going to get Mega Kangaskhan back to full HP, and that takes out the Galarian Linoone. The Drain Punch though from the Mienshao, not quite doing enough to that Mega Kangaskhan, but getting that super effective damage. Now in comes the Groudon. Illumise though still kicking around and has got that light screen up just in preparation for that Charizard coming in. Can now reset the weather if it wants to as well. All the while that Illumise lives, Dogsy has freedom to just be able to change that weather around, and Meme is going to be forced to have to play pivot play. There is the Rain as expected. The Double Edge is going to take the Mienshao down with Sash, but the Parental Bond is going to take it out, and there's a Recall Kangaskhan just about hangs on. Rockslide is going to take out the Mega Kangaskhan and does super effective damage to Illumise, but Illumise just below half HP does hang on. It is now a 3v2 then, so is it the Mega Charizard in the back then for me? You would expect it so, and it is of course, but Illumise, this Charizard can go for its Mega, reset the sun. But Illumis can just rain dance again. That Beartick is going to get the Swift Swim ability activated and be able to go very quickly, especially with one more turn of Tailwind. Light Screen with another couple of turns to go as well. So Dogsy in a very, very strong position here. You know, that Beartick, super effective moves to both Groudon and Mega Charizard, so Meme in a little bit of a spot here. There's the Mega Charizard, goes for its Mega Illumis, resets it with the back. Liquidation just takes out the Mega Charizard. It didn't stand a chance. Groudon goes for the Rock Slide. It does take out the Illumis and does some big damage to Beartick. Beartick obviously weak to rock moves, so, you know, not great for it, but Groudon now has to do it against the World, Necrozma and Beartick. Beartick with, of course, Swift Swim, as we mentioned. Necrozma, we know how strong this thing is. And this one looks very much wrapped up on a plate for Dogsy, so it is me about to drop his first match of the season. Groudon does live that liquidation. Rock Slide is going to take out the Beartick, so all of a sudden it is a 1v1, but that Photon Geyser is going to take out the Groudon, and Dogsy takes this first game, and there it is, Meme dropping his first game of the season, and Dogsy making a great start of this one as we move on into game number 2 then. Dogsy sticking with his guns with that Illumis and Mega Kangaskhan, and Meme keeping that main shout, but switching things up and starting with the Togekiss now. So as we mentioned earlier, that Togekiss does have access to Tailwind, so may look to match Dogsy's Illumis with his own Tailwind. Kangaskhan go for its Mega, Mienshao goes for its Fake Out, just like turn 1 of game 1. Illumis gets the Tailwind up, and Tailwind goes up for the Togekiss then, so speed control on both sides, just like Aaron versus Draco earlier, pretty much the same moves on both sides, so both the same idea. And we're back on level pegging for turn number 2. So I'm being fully aware that, you know, a double edge from that Kangaskhan, thanks to that parental bond, is going to break through his sash and we're going to do big damage either way. But a good start to this game from both coaches. Mega Kangaskhan swapping out, then comes in across now, and Beartick switches a double switch in for Dogsy. A great read there's Drain Punch, obviously is resisted by the Necrozma, and the Yawn comes out from the Togekiss, so Beartick now on a timer is going to go to sleep next time, and Necrozma comfortably living that Drain Punch, so great read there from Dogsy, seeing what was coming. 2 more turns of Tailwind up for both coaches. Beartick switches out, and that's the smart thing, as in comes Illumis. There's the Drain Punch, so again a great read there from Dogs, and Dazzling Gleam comes out, does get the crit on Illumis. There's the Photon Geyser, that is going to take Mienshao down to its sash though. 1 more turn of Tailwind now. That Illumis got to go for something here. Could go for another read, all dependent. We saw how much that Dazzling Gleam did last turn. As the Togekiss switches out, in comes the Groudon, then gets the Sun up. Light Screen goes off from the Illumis, and the Coaching comes out from the Mienshao. Then there's the Meteor Beam on the Necrozma. That goes into the Groudon, so again a great read there from Meme, switches in the Groudon, can see an attacks coming into that Togekiss. And Groudon comfortably living that, then obviously resisting the Rock type move. So some great reads this game. As I said, all coaches really stepping their game up. Tailwind comes out from Illumis to get that speed control. There's the Solar Beam. Is that going to take out the Groudon? It doesn't quite. And there's the Coaching comes out again. The Rock Slide is going to take out the Illumis. Necrozma hangs on for dear life thanks to that though. And it is now a 3v4. Now Mega Kangaskhan swaps back in. Has the freedom of both Mienshao and Groudon to go for a Fake Out here. So me going to be forced to protect one of them. You think the Fake Out is going to take out the Mienshao. There is the Heat Wave onto the Groudon, and all of a sudden it is a 3v2. Great turn there from Dogsy. Good switch-ins, and Mega Kangaskhan comes in to get the work done with his Fake Out, as now the Mega Charizard comes back in. Sun already up, so no need for it to reset the weather. Illumis is down, so Dogsy now cannot reset that weather. There goes the Protect, comes out from the Mega Charizard this time. The Rock Tomb blocked by that Protect. There's the Photon Geyser into the Togekiss. Togekiss tanks that and it takes down to half HP. Tailwind now goes up for Meme to match Dogsy's Tailwind, and only 1 turn left for Tailwind for Dogsy, so this is a good position for Meme to be in. He might be 1-1 down, but still he's got a full health Charizard here in the Sun. The Necrozma only just hanging on. does have that special attack boost though, and Torjikis not going to enjoy taking me. There's the Flamethrower. Kangaskhan does tank that though, and there's the Rock Tomb that takes out the Mega Charizard. Mega Charizard goes down, and there is the Heat Wave, but it misses the Torjikis, and Dazzling Gleam is going to take out the Necrozma, and now it is a 1v2. As in comes Beartic, so no rain up for the Beartic to get a Swift Swim, so Torjikis moving much faster than both mons here. Meme could still do this with half HP Torjikis, do not write it off. Dazzling Gleam, that is going to take the Kangaskhan and gets a crit on the Beartic as well. There's the Liquidation. Torjikis hanging on, does drop its defense. How much is that Dazzling Gleam going to do? Can he get another crit on it? It's 1v1, all comes down to this. Can Dogsy take it? There's the Dazzling Gleam. Oh, it lives with 5% HP. Liquidation's going to do the job though. Takes out Beartic, does go down in the end for its life or damage, but Torjikis was already gone, and Dogsy takes this one 2-0. So for the very first time since season number 1, Dogsy with 2 wins in a row. Congratulations to Dogsy. That was played super well. Dogsy really looking like a force to be reckoned with thus far in season 3. Handing Meme his first loss of the season. So that does mean that Aaron is now a lot more comfortable up at the top of the table there. That's not to diss on Meme at all. Meme, again, played that one really smart and very nearly had it in the end there. It was very, very, very close. So I'm sure Meme will be back with a vengeance next week. But again, GG's to both those guys. Dogsy played really, really well. And it's good to see him back to winning ways. But let's take a look at the league table then. And see what's what as we go into week number 4. We are closing in, ladies and gentlemen, on that mid-season free agency period. We are 2 weeks away before things get very crazy. We have a 2-day transfer window this time around, much shorter, as we're trying to cram this season in before the Christmas break and before playoff starts January next year. But as you can see there, in first place on a 3-0 record, Aaron's Inglorious Surfers yet to drop a match. Obviously losing out a game to Draco this time, but Draco not able to win the match in the end. Zashian and Co proving too strong. Followed closely by South Croydon Saurs, Tyranitar Tyrants, Space City PC, and Dogsy's ShadowKings, all on that 2-1 record. Obviously Dogsy, as we just saw, taking out Space City PC, handing them their first loss. Silver on a 2-game winning streak, and Crizzle getting back to winning ways after losing to the aforementioned Dogsy in week number 2. So our first place and second place teams from season 2, both making excellent starts to life in season 3. So looking like a force to be reckoned with. In 6th place, then we've 7th and 8th. We've got Miami Heat, Swindon Rookies, and the Ninjas. Latvian losing for a second week in a row, which is pretty unheard of. That again, like Dogsy winning 2 games in a row, that hasn't happened since season number 1 regular season. So Latvian hoping to bounce back in week number 4. Draco losing out as well to our second week in a row. Had a very difficult matchup this week, either way, but played it really, really well. Can be very, very proud of that performance and took Aaron all the way. So again, Draco, I'm sure, will be bouncing back next week. And in 8th place there, the Ninjas getting their first win of the season over Silly's Long Island Goomies, getting themselves out of that relegation zone. Down there in the relegation zone, though, we've got Newcastle Thundurus, Long Island Goomies, California Bastiodons, and Nicer Sidonia. Aaron is only in first and does wins and exactly. It's all just a fix, dude. Yes, but Dave also getting his first win of the season as well over Jabba's Nicer Sidonia, and that being Jabba's second loss in a row. Jabba now at the bottom of the table. Oma losing out as well for the second time this season, now down in second bottom, and Silly also losing out for a second time this season, drops himself down at the relegation zone. But I said, Silly has a strong team, is a force to be reckoned with, has proven that, he's got the tools at his disposal and he is willing to use them, so we will see what happens. But next week, week number 4 then, we have got a doozy. It is old friends, old foes. Miami Heat take on Dogsy ShadowKings. These two haven't played each other in a competitive match since season 1. That time round, they did share matches between each other. So Latvian going to be looking to try and get back to winning ways against Dogsy ShadowKings. But, Dogsy making a very good start of life in season 3. Not one to be messed with. Long Island Goomies take on Swindon Rookies. So both losing out in week number 3. Hoping to change their fortunes around. Try and get back to winning ways and get themselves back on an even level pegging field. Crystal South Croydon Saurs taking on the Wobbuffet Ninjas then, so that's going to be an interesting one. These two obviously played each other twice. Well, the Ninjas did when Mark was part of the Bully Boys, played each other twice during playoffs, and we are obviously losing out to Crizzle once last season and beating him in the first game of last season, so could go either way this time round. We'll see what happens in that one. Silver taking on Newcastle Thundurus. Tyranitar Tyrants taking on Newcastle. This ought to be an absolutely spicy game. I'm very, very excited for this one. It's about to be stall versus stall. Dave seems to be starting to get things clicking in place with his team. If he's got an answer for that Cali Shadow, which he definitely does in that Suicune, then it could be a very, very interesting game, that one. So keep an eye out for that one next week, boys and girls. Cali Bastiodons taking on Memes Space City PC. Almost going to have to really be careful with this one. Obviously, he does have that Chandelure with Flash Fire, but there's a lot of his team that is weak to fire or is neutrally hit with fire. And as it proved there, if the other team brings, a Steel type or an Ice type moves to their arsenal, then he's in a bit of a spot. So, going to be interesting to see how he plays that one. But Meme hoping to bounce back after that Week 3 defeat. And finally, our final match of Week 4 is Nice Sidonia taking on Aaron's Inglorious Surfers. So, it is first versus last. There's not a great record of this going well for first place in this league in Season 1. Long Island Goomies lost out to Aaron when Aaron was bottom of the league and Silly was top. I lost out to Gus's Aurora Akuno when I was top and Gus was bottom. So this doesn't tend to be a great fixture for whoever's in first place. So this genuinely could go either way. Do not write off Jabber. Jabber is a very talented player. And if he has a way to stop Aaron's Sword Dog, then I'm sure he will find it. But that is going to do it for this week's show, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have all very much enjoyed. I've enjoyed hosting it for you guys, and we will of course be back next Monday at the same time, the same place of twitch.tv/British League for all of Week 4's action. You can of course catch the VOD for this week on our YouTube at 6 o'clock on Wednesday evening, so keep an eye out for that if you did happen to miss this VOD or you're wanting to watch it back. Of course, you may want to see your game back. You may have missed this show and you're just coming at the end here. But that is going to do it for today. I have been your host, Matt Starr. I will see you all next week. Goodbye and good night. Mwah.